Good evening, and welcome to the Land Use Academy of Utah Forum on Conditional Uses. My name is Brent Bateman. I'm the lead attorney in the Office of the Property Rights Ombudsman, and I'll be your moderator for this forum. There's been a lot of discussion about conditional uses and how to approach them. In this luau video, we would like to delve into the details about the conditional use statute and hopefully clear up any confusion. And to help us do that, we have assembled a panel of some of the most distinguished and experienced land use minds in the state. First, we would like to welcome Mayor Floyd DeBarber from the town of Henryville, Utah.
Thank you. You're glad I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you for coming, Mr. Mayor. Next, we have County Planning Commissioner Eileen Dover from Logan County. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. And finally, please welcome City Attorney Martin Prince from the firm of Prince and Muntz PC in Springdale. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
So glad that you could all take time out of your busy schedules to be here and to help us with this discussion on conditional uses. Now, I'd like to throw the first question out to you, Mr. Mayor, if that's okay. Now, the first question. Mayor, imagine a developer came to your town's planning commission with a conditional use application to build a large dog kennel, proposing to house over 50 dogs in a residential zone. The question is, what is the first thing you would normally do?
Thank you, Brent. Well, my concern obviously is for the citizens of my city, my constituents, the neighbors in that residential zone. Now, dog kennels can be noisy and smelly. Now, my constituents will not want a noisy, smelly kennel in their neighborhood, so we must deny the application outright.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, but that answer is absolutely incorrect. Now I will throw the question open. Anyone else? Anyone? What is the first thing we must do when we get a conditional use permit application? This question is worth 10 points. Yes, Planning Commissioner Dover.
The first thing to do is to check your code to determine if the dog kennel is a permitted use, a conditional use, or a prohibited use in that zone. If it is a conditional use, you would apply the law of conditional uses to that application.
Congratulations, Planning Commission Dover. That answer is absolutely correct. 10 points to you. Now, Commissioner, you may take the difficult follow-up question or pass.
Oh, difficult follow-up. I think I'll go ahead and pass, Brent.
Ooh, yeah, putting pressure on the other contestants. I like that. Okay, so the follow-up question goes to you, Attorney Prince. And this one is worth 20 points. Are you ready? Here's the question. You've noted that the dog kennel in question is listed as a conditional use in the zone. According to state law, can you now deny the application because dogs are noisy and smelly? And in order to help our studio audience, we will show the state statute on conditional uses. Remember that our panelists cannot see the statute, so please do not shout out the answer. Your answer, Attorney Prince. Can the application be denied?
Well, let me think here, Brent. The state statute states that a conditional use shall be approved if reasonable conditions are proposed or can be imposed to mitigate the reasonably anticipated detrimental effects of the proposed use in accordance with applicable standards. That means that if we have listed a dog kennel as a conditional use in a residential zone, our city wants dog kennels in the zone, and we shall approve them if reasonable conditions can be imposed to mitigate the detrimental effects. We can only deny the application if we cannot substantially mitigate the detrimental effects by imposing reasonable conditions.
Time's up now. Is that your final answer?
Our city listed the dog kennel as a conditional use, so in most cases, we cannot deny the dog kennel's conditional use application.
Congratulations, that is correct. Well done, well done. 20 points to you, and the correct answer has earned you a bonus question for 10 points. Are you ready? Are you nervous? Okay, here we go. Your 10-point bonus question. What conditions can you impose?
I presume the detrimental effects of a kennel with 50 dogs would be noise from barking and probably smell from the dogs. So the city would impose a reasonable condition that would reduce the neighbor's ability to hear the barking noise, such as requiring the kennel to be kept at least 1,000 feet from other homes. You would also impose a condition that would reduce the smell, such as requiring cleanup and sanitary waste disposal.
Judges, can we accept that answer? Sorry, I'm sorry, but you are only partially correct. You have omitted a critical factor. Yes, Planning Commissioner Dover.
The conditions you impose must comply with standards in your ordinance.
Very good! And that's 5 points to you. Yes, your next step is to determine the detrimental effects and impose reasonable conditions to mitigate those effects. But those conditions must comply with standards in your ordinance. You cannot just make conditions up. Very good. Now, before we continue, Gary, please tell our panelists what today's prize is.
Brent, tonight's winner will receive this beautiful lounge set valued at $1,500.
Thanks, Gary. Now, on to the next question. Are you ready? What is the meaning of the term standards set forth in an applicable ordinance? Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
Yes?
Could you repeat the question?
Oh, I'm sorry, that is incorrect, Mr. Mayor. Attorney Muntz, now is your chance to steal.
Could I ask you to repeat that question for me, please?
I'm sorry, that is also incorrect. So, it is up to you, Planning Commissioner Dover. This question is worth 50 points, which will put you comfortably in the lead. Are you ready?
Yes.
What is your answer?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure, no problem. I'll repeat the question. What is the meaning of standards set forth in an applicable ordinance?
The state statute requires that any condition that you impose upon a conditional use comply with standards in your ordinance. Standards are like goals that you have for your community that reflect what your citizens would like the community to be. They must be in your ordinance and should be objective and measurable. So, if you have a standard in your ordinance on noise, you can impose upon the dog kennel a condition that they take measures to reduce the noise to comply with the standard. If you don't have a standard on noise, you cannot impose a condition on noise. Thus, you will need to approve the dog kennel without imposing a noise condition.
Oh, congratulations! That is absolutely correct. Very well done. So, at the end of our first round, the score is Mayor DeBarber, 0 points. Attorney Muntz has 15 points and in the lead, Planning Commissioner Dover with 65 points. Very nice, very nice. Okay. And now, it's time to move on to our lightning round. I'm going to say your name and then ask you a question about conditional uses. Each question is worth 10 points. Are you ready? Here we go. Mr. Mayor, what 3 things are found in most local zoning codes?
Voting booths and people that vote and constituents.
I'm wrong, I'm sorry. Most codes contain permitted uses, conditional uses, and a statement that if a use is not listed as permitted or conditional, it's a prohibited use. Commissioner, are you required by law to include conditional uses in your zoning code?
No.
That's absolutely correct. You do not need to include conditional uses in any code. Attorney Muntz, what is the standard of review for a conditional use application?
Well, conditional uses are an administrative decision that can be made by whatever administrative body is appointed to that task by the local legislative body. Oftentimes, conditional uses are decided by the Planning Commission, but do not need to be. The standard for review for an administrative decision is substantial evidence in the record. That means if your conditional use decision is supported in the record by substantial evidence, it is not arbitrary and capricious and will be upheld on appeal
I'm
by
sorry.
the court.
Your answer was absolutely correct, but it was way too long and lawyery. Mr. Mayor, when an unpopular but legal conditional use application causes an uproar in your community, and hundreds of angry citizens come to the Planning Commission meeting to express their frustration and to demand that you say no. What is the proper action to take?
Like, take their side, deny the application, and win lots of votes.
Wrong! The correct answer is follow the law and make an evidence-based decision, even if it's unpopular. Commissioner, what do we do with public clamor?
That sounds like a great subject for a future luau video, Brent.
Absolutely correct. 10 more points to you. Now, Attorney Muntz, what is the difference between public clamor and evidence?
Well, Brent, evidence is the substance of...
Wrong. I'm sorry. That is incorrect due to the fact that you are going to be boring and lawyery again. And that means Planning Commissioner Dover is our winner. Yay! Yay! All right. And that is our form for conditional uses for today. Please join us tomorrow for another luau forum on complicated legal matters, where more fabulous prizes will be given away. We'll see you then. And remember, if you have something listed as a conditional use that you always want to deny, change your ordinance to make it a prohibited use. If it's conditional, that answer will usually be yes. See you next time. Yay!